Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I am thrilled to do this segment because it brings young people in the Bronx into the political scene, into something they're interested in. And these two young Bronx high school students have put together a club, and the name of the club is Elections, Politics, and Governance. They're over at SAR Academy. It's my pleasure to welcome Eytan Saenger and Tyler Fischman. Let's start with you, Eytan. Nice to have you with us, sir.
Thank you for having us.
And also, Tyler, nice to have you, sir.
Thank you so much for having us, Gary.
Eytan, let's just start with you. How did this club come about? And then, of course, you've done some great things already, even moderating a political forum. That's wonderful. But let's start about the origin of the club.
Right. So I'd say for both of us, we'd been interested in politics for multiple years. And we'd participated in some clubs these years, but there hadn't really been like one main politics club. And after both working on campaigns over this past summer, we felt that there was a need to start a club at SAR, which gave students and faculty an opportunity to come and discuss the events in the political world, the elections, what's happening in government, and to do it in a nonpartisan type way where, especially nowadays, where a lot of politics can devolve into a screaming match and be very, I'd say, non-cordial, or that it was a way where people could discuss what they thought about certain things without it getting like very hectic and staying more neutral and on the facts.
I'm saying that sounds wonderful. My curiosity is about other students. Do other students say, "Oh, these guys, they're just political nerds," or do they come right out and say, "Wow, this is a good thing. I want to be part of it"? Eytan, we'll start with you, and then I'll get to Tyler about it.
Well, I mean, I'd say that like definitely as the year has gone on, more people have like shown up to our different like speakers. And that has been like something which I guess was introduced a few months into the club where people were like, wow, this is something that people are putting together. And like, it's interesting and it's something I haven't heard from. Like they felt like they can come and hear from a former senator or a municipal candidate or something like that, who they wouldn't usually hear from. And like, we're excited to come and hear that perspective.
Tyler, let's talk about your interest here. You share the interest in politics, and talk a little bit about the internship that Eytan referred to over the summer that you worked on campaigns.
Absolutely. So I interned with my local state assemblyman. I live on the Upper East Side, Rebecca Seawright. And by doing that, I sort of got to see the beauty of politics and of local politics in particular. Her campaign headquarters in her government office was a community center. You got senior citizens coming in needing help with their rent increase exemptions, or an old lady who needed the help going to the library. And through that, I really wanted to share sort of the softer, less hot topic side of politics with my peers. And I reached out to Eytan, and we got the EPG club started. And
I'm trying to think of a better education for young high school students, but I can't. I mean, that had to
Absolutely.
be as, real world. You saw people who, really need services and all those kinds of things. And then the process of how an elected official might actually make that happen. Tyler, talk about the forum that you just ran as far as the 11th City Council District.
Absolutely. So the 11th City Council District comprises of Riverdale and the neighboring areas. And Eytan, living in the district, came to me with an incredible idea that we should run a city council forum for the SAR community, because obviously a city council special election, turnout's low. So we felt that we could really make an impact on who would win this race and the outcome. So we reached out to all the candidates thinking we'd get no more than 2 or 3, just bring them to the club, see who would want to come. And gradually, one candidate responded, and 2, and then we had all of them. So we quickly changed gears from having them come speak to our club audience to a town hall forum. We wrote up questions. The school was incredible, helped us every single step of the way. And we had 170 people come and hear from all the candidates a couple of weeks
I'm
back.
sorry, I've got to applaud because I know what it's
Thank you.
like from the inside on doing these kinds of things. And for a high school forum to have done that, I'm sure parents and faculty and the entire high school community was part of it. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
Um,
And I think that was part of the beauty of it, that the entire community really got behind it, that it wasn't only regular members of our club or teachers. We had synagogue community members and academy parents, lower school parents come. So it was really this community-wide push behind a political race that I don't think anyone would have really been too interested otherwise.
Eytan, I'm going to play teacher here. And of course, you know, it is the school day. We're recording this on Monday. And so I got to ask you, what did you learn? What was surprising that you didn't expect as you guys were setting this thing up? Or was there nothing that it just went as you thought it was going to go?
Well, I would say, in a way, like just setting it up and like being able to like communicate with the different campaigns and just like to see that like, well, usually you hear, okay, there's a city council campaign or a mayoral campaign. Oh, so there's many staff members and it's a whole like big thing, which is like very disconnected from everything else. But like I was reaching out to the candidates themselves because in a local city council race like this, there are not that many staff members and there are not that many like people that go into this to a local campaign. And like and so that was something I guess I learned in the process of it. And then on the night of the event, I guess in a like good sense of that we were able to conduct it without it evolving into a shouting match, and it stayed mostly cordial between the candidates, and we were able to go from candidate to candidate without too many insults, unlike in some other debates, whereas like in the presidential debate where some people were very turned off by watching that and seeing two candidates shouting at each other the whole time or calling them names. This was more on the issues. We'd ask a question about education. You'd ask a question and they'd say what they thought about the issue and their honest opinion as a candidate.
It was civil. I guess that would be one way to take a look at it. Tyler, let's talk about the setting up of it. What I was hoping Eytan was going to say, that he has more respect for people who do it for a living like I do, who do it on a regular basis and manage all that stuff all the time.
That definitely too.
But Tyler, let's just, I guess, get you the same question. What impression did you have about doing it and what it meant for you, and maybe what does it inspire you to think about for yourself or even for SAR and the possibilities for the future?
I think the part that I really found so inspiring was the messaging I got from my peers after. I had people texting me, telling me the candidates they preferred, the messages they agreed with. And I think a majority of people couldn't have told you who the winner of this race's predecessor was, Andrew Cohen. But I think due to our efforts, they 100% will know who wins this election. I've had people coming up to me in the halls asking me who's going to win, who has won. So that's definitely inspiring. And I think there's a role for education, especially high school students in particular, to get involved in local government, because over the course of the presidential election, we had a lot of information messaging about that. But local government, municipal government, state government is equally as, if not more important than that, to the daily lives of everyone.
And you look at the issues, funding for your school, all the things going on in communities where, I mean, I don't have to review them. You guys know it, development or arts funding. I mean, all these different kinds of, with money for the buses and transportation and how it trickles down. I think it's you just couldn't have a better educational exercise. What you guys may not be aware of is that you're taking advantage of what really was a terrible thing, and that is the pandemic, which forced us all, including me and BronxNet, into this new Zoom culture, into this virtual culture, which makes it possible for you to do the kind of forum you did. Otherwise, you'd need the auditorium, and that involves the custodian, and you'd have to invite people, and then there's security, and then you have to have a stage. Here, you know, candidates can do it from on their lunch hour, you know, that kind of thing. So let's start with you, Tyler. What is next for your club? Does it make you say, gee, maybe we ought to do more of this?
I think based on how well this went, me and Eytan definitely had that conversation. We looked at each other and said, we need to keep this effort going. Our next step, actually, we are planning an interfaith mayoral campaign with both Christian and Muslim schools in the community. And we're hoping to have as many mayoral candidates as possible come and speak to us about the issues concerning both religious children in the city and private school students. And
Wow.
we're very excited about that.
And I have to tell you, emblematic of the kinds of things we need. How wonderful for a Jewish school, a Muslim school, and a Catholic school to get together and say we have something in common, and that is the elected representation. Let's all have input on it. I mean, I couldn't be more excited about the things that you're telling me. Eytan, what about arranging questions and subject matter? Is that an effort for you? We've got about a minute left, so let's do that, and then we'll just wrap it up. So what do you think?
Right. So I'd say we sort of try to get guests that we can ask different types of questions from. So we'll have a mayoral candidate, or you'll have a senator or something like that. And then you'll also have someone who worked for the Supreme Court. And so we can ask tough questions, not just, okay, what is your view on healthcare or universal healthcare? What is your view on this? But how is your experience working in your profession different than someone else we'd have, and how does that impact you in your day-to-day lives?
Listen, we got to run, but what a great exercise for you. You have, that's it. Class is over. Right on time. Thank you, SAR Academy, for your timing. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. You have inspired me. You have inspired your entire school community. And we hope to have greater interaction with you here on BronxNet Television. Folks, that's all for the Bronx Buzz for this evening. We thank, of course, Eytan Saenger, and also Tyler Fischman from SAR, and Ralph Ortega from City and State New York. And this week on Bronx Talk, speaking of debates, we'll do the debate for the candidates in the 15th Council District. So that'll be coming up this week. See you. Good night. Thanks.